Hi to all our watchers of YouTube. I've got Keith, my normal partner, and tonight we've got Christy Proctor. Edwards, isn't it? Edwards,
yeah.
sorry. So we'll have a bit of footy and a bit of netball tonight. So Keith, last weekend, huge, brilliant 2 games of footy, big weekend at Maffra for yourself, and a great weekend had by all, I think.
Yeah, well, it was a good weekend of footy. Finals are always exciting times. 2 terrific venues. Games made a little trickier with a bit of breeze there, which we haven't had much of that this year. But yeah, 2 good games. Results interesting. It's now down to 3 left.
Yeah, well, Traralgon beat Druin by 3 goals. Druin didn't have a very good first half, but they came back strongly. But Traralgon held on for a 3-goal win, and they were the best side for the year, and they're straight into the grand final. So they've got a week's rest, and then on Sunday it was a bit of a depleted Sale side that had a few injuries, and unfortunately for them, I think after quarter time they only had 18 players. Their bench wasn't working, and in the last quarter, Maffra were able to just run away with it. But I think Sale were definitely had too many injured players out, and my unbeaten side for the year is in mothballs now until 2012.
Yeah, well, it's a very disappointing end to the season for Sale. With injuries, I thought they put up a very brave effort on Sunday.
Yes, they did.
It was just the last quarter, and in the way football's played now, if you haven't got any to change bench at all, you're going to get run over.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work with rotations. But I thought they were pretty brave. Maffra, I think, got a fair bit of work to do if they still have premiership aspirations. But all in all, good game. Saturday's game, Druin and Traralgon, interesting in the result. Druin had a couple of key guys out. Traralgon had their coach Jennings out. But still, it was a game that was up for grabs, and Druin nearly looked like snatching it there in the last quarter when they got within 4 points.
Yeah. All right, and we might just do a little quick review of the netball too, Christy, so we don't forget our netballers.
Yeah, sure. On Saturday we had Druin versus Traralgon, which was a pretty good game. I thought Traralgon were exceptional on the day, beating Druin pretty much all over the court if you looked at one-on-one matchups. Particularly Stacey O'Brien in the centre really tore Druin apart in the second half. Phenomenal athlete she is. So yeah, it was a well-deserved win by Traralgon, and Druin will have to play much better if they're a chance at beating Traralgon again if they meet them in the grand final. The Sunday game was Bairnsdale versus Maffra. I didn't get to see the match, but I heard that it was fairly close throughout the game and resulted in a 8-goal win to Bairnsdale. So Druin will play Bairnsdale again for the third time in 4 weeks, which should be interesting.
Certainly. And Stacey O'Brien, she's won a couple of BNFs.
She has. I've lost count how many she's won.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very good player.
All right, so we'll go to the big preliminary final in the footy. Keith, it's Druin versus Maffra. Obviously, this is do or die for both sides.
Oh, well, it is. Loses out, winner gets a crack, and it's interesting. There were 2 grand finals last year, and Druin, Maffra, Traralgon were the top 3 last year, and after such an interesting season this year, and being so close, I find it a bit surprising that the same 3 are really still there. But yeah, it'll be interesting game. Always good, Druin versus Maffra. Again, it'll be ins and outs will play a bit of a part. I think Maffra had Gary Jones away last week, and I think if they're going to try and rush him back from Malaysia, that's about the greatest risk you could ever take, apart from the travel and that. And Josh Stubb probably missed this week. I'd say certainly should have, and he'd have been better if he didn't play last week. But that's the way it goes. Druin, not sure how its injuries will come up. Adam Cook, I don't hold out much hope for him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play.
I have a a little bit of hope for Cam de Goya, and I'm not sure what the latest is with Hayden Callaway, who went down injured at the weekend. But that's the way. That's the way the ball bounces, and you've got to get through those things if you're good enough. But I look back at last year when Mafra lost its key forward Adrian Bergiel on the eve of the finals,
Yep.
and it lost its other key forward on the eve of Daniel Stubb on the eve of the grand final, yet still managed to find a way to get through and win a premiership. So I think that's a bit of the attitude Drill's got to take in it. They haven't got their key forwards. There's ways to do it, and I'm not sure what goes on with the Gippsland Power people.
No, well, that'll be both sides pick up 2 players. Geelong will pick up Daniel Jackson and Anthony Tipungwuti, Tipper to the locals, and Mafra will pick up Danny Butcher, who was runner-up, I think, in the Power, or in the medal even, I think, and a young Johnson. I can't his first name. Oh, Jack Johnson. Now they'll be handy pickups for both sides, but I mean you would imagine in Mafra their standard good players like Calvin Porter, he's had a great year. Daniel O'Brien, Benny Coleman. There's a bit of an injury cloud there with the shoulder, but Jed Costigan, who's a VFL player, and then Drawn obviously with their famed on-balling brigade. They should. The battles and the matchups will be fantastic. Who takes on Jack Tatterson?
Yeah, well, I think on Sunday, Sunday's game, and sort of thinking about it afterwards, I think Drill's just got to try and really restrict Mafra scoring. They didn't kick a massive score on Sunday, but guys like Daniel Stubb, Tatterson I thought was very good. Yeah. Daniel Bedgegood I thought was very good. On the half-forward flanking down on the wing and coming forward, I thought he was excellent. They were able to up the ante in the last quarter against the Tyrone Sale. Johnson on the half-back line was just a classy player, and certainly played well. But I think if Drew can hold those dangerous forwards to reasonable tallies, then you've got a really good chance here.
Okay. Well, I mean, the back lines, each club's got some, 3 or 4, top players, the forward line. So the matchups will obviously be important. I think one matchup will provide, some information on how the two sides go. Is the 2 ruckmen, Booth and McCallum. McCallum's sort of got the bigger name, but Booth's been plugging away and, putting up reasonable performances. Yeah,
I thought he wasn't as influential as I thought he'd be in last Sunday's game. No. Given that Sale went in without a ruckman, and Peter McFarlane just did a magnificent job, conceding about 6 inches and just played a phenomenal game. So I reckon McCallum will probably come out well. His performances since he's come back in the 2 finals have been good.
Yeah.
And I think he'll take it there. But I think Drill's side that they have this year's got a fair amount of flexibility to it, and that could be very important in the game at the weekend. Weather forecast is supposedly very good.
Yes.
And even though we're playing at Warragul, one of the smaller grounds in the league, which probably doesn't really suit either side. It's going to be
where the matchups will be even more important.
Yep.
Okay, so you tip?
I'll go for Druid.
Oh,
yeah, very confident.
Yeah, no worries. I thought you might. So we'll slip over to Christy if you want to do a bit on A grade, Christy.
Sure. So Druin and Bansale are playing again this week. Last time they met, Druin won 52-42. I think the key matchups this week is definitely the one between mid-quarters Taylor Bott, the young 15-year-old from Druin, and Katie Cross from Bansale. Both of them incredibly fast on the court, so whoever can win that battle will definitely help their team out. The other one is Honora Virgo, the goal attack, and Jess Thomas, goal defence. fantastic battle that one was last week, last time they encountered each other. Again, a very, very important matchup. Whoever can get on top of the other one, I think, will make a big impact on the game. And the last one is Stacey Proctor and Asher, the goal attack on goal defence. If Stacey can win that contest, seems to be when Stacey Proctor is firing up the attack and Druin really get on very well and score more consistently. So that is another matchup that's really, really important too. Yeah, that's all.
So have you got a tip?
Oh, Druin, of course.
Christy can't say anything else, but yeah. Now, Monday night we've got our Senior League medal night. So who's your tip for the B and F in A grade? In
A grade, okay. Well, I'd have to say Stacey O'Brien. She's definitely a chance. But the other player I like is Caitlin, and sorry Caitlin, I've forgotten your last name, from Mafra, a defender, goalkeeper, really good player. I think she's had a fantastic season, so I think it might be between those two.
Okay. And Keith, I might as well ask you, who's going to win the Trude Award and rod a medal?
Well, I did, I think, give a bit of tip on that a week or two ago in Warragul and Drew and Gazette, but I went for Bo Vernon.
Leading Gather, yeah, he's had a good year.
I just think he's been a good player right throughout. In a side that's performed pretty well, it's had its moments, but I think he's done very well. I throw in Matt Ferguson from Sale because he's a quality player and looks so good when he's going well, but he's got to be noticed.
Leading goal kicker.
Yeah, and the other guy, I think Chris Hancock, who unfortunately missed a medal a couple of years ago when he took a suspension that he perhaps shouldn't have taken and finished up with the most votes but was denied the medal. And I think he'll be up there, and I think it'd be nice actually if he could get it, but I think those probably my pick at this stage.
Fair enough. Well, that's about it. We'll be back next week.
Who are you tipping?
Well, being the general manager, I've got some inside knowledge, so I don't think it'd be right for me to tip anyone. Excuse me, I snorted then. Because I've been involved in arranging all the presentations. But anyway, preliminary final at Warragul. It's going to be a great day, and we're going to have some great footy, some great netball. So thank you for everyone watching. I know we've got a huge audience out there. And we'll be back next week to preview the grand final. Thank you, everyone.